All right, before I say anything, I'm gonna let some people get in on the chat first before we say anything because I want to make sure people hear everything that we have to say. This is very impromptu, very impromptu. What we're doing right now. So, well, people jumping on the chat room. That's pretty quick. We're gonna wait for some more people to get in, and I'm pretty sure you see the title. Why black men are a laughing stock in America. Coon whoring featuring Lil Wayne. Now, 3 years ago, we covered why black men are a laughing stock in America. And that particular video was focusing on the sagging of the pants and just how ridiculous that was, how no man who is truly successful or whoever been successful is walking around like that. It would show, you being just a dusty dude, a go nowhere, no hope. Definitely talked about the origins of sagging pants, how it came out of jail and all these things like that. And you're taking low class things and want to call it a style. And because you as a black person, especially as a black man, everyone's going to copy you. Even in your era, people copy you. We just need to be better than that. So that was that particular video. That video we did about 3 years ago. Definitely garnered a little bit over 400,000 views. So that's pretty good for that video. But we're going to get to talking about Lil Wayne here. But I'm going to let more people jump in first. Yeah, you're right about that, Natalie. I can't stand them either. To me, coons are worse than white supremacists to me because they know we've been through. And what I can't stand and why I'm much harder on black men than I am the women. And some people may say, well, why are you so hard on black men and not the women? Because the men are the leaders in the community, not the women. And the reason why our community is so screwed up is because we don't have a black male leadership. We've let the women lead everything. And you see how it's screwed up because just call it what it is. The original design, God called the man to lead and the woman to help that man. Not her just doing it all and the man just sitting around, not doing crap. That's why our community is more screwed up than anybody else's community. And what I'm trying to tell you is I have to speak on tough love here because we can't just keep going at white supremacy 24/7 and not address the issues within our own community that we have to deal with in order to be better and move forward. Well, this person that just told me, what's this person's name? Arthur White. I can only speak on what I know. And at the end of the day, I'm also focusing on the fixing the issues within my community because that's need to be really fixed. I can't fix the issues in other people's communities. Now, I'm not saying people in other communities don't relate to some of the problems, but I can't fix your community. I mean, you got to fix your own. That's how I look at that. All right, we're gonna wait about another minute or so before we actually get into it. Like I said, I'm not gonna be on here too long, but I just kind of want to just get into the Lil Wayne thing. But we have seen, like as of recent, this cooning has really took off more than what it should. I mean, I've never seen black men in the state that you've been so weak. You are the weakest I've ever seen because listen, you always had your coons. I get that. Just like you always had your white supremacists, but it's like the white supremacists are coming out more and the coons are coming out more. And then, when you call out the coons, these white supremacists come by. This is what they always say, y'all. Well, you guys are just mad because they have their own minds. They think for themselves. They don't think like you. No, they think like you. They think like a devil. That's what they think like. And for me, A coon is just worse than even you. That's why I say them coons, I tell you, we need to have a major separation within our community away from them, away from the hyenas, away from the thugs and the coons. Y'all can go over there and stay with white supremacy if you want to. Stay with them. I'm good with that. We need to get away from y'all because the coons are the main ones that's going to sit there, listen to, black people trying to get their act together and go running back and tell white supremacy, hey, the black people trying to do this and trying to do that. All the time you had black people, even during slavery, try to rise up and fight back. There's always some coon that ran back and went told. And that's how a lot of times the revolts were thwarted. I mean, you could look at that in history. And one thing I cannot stand is a weak black man. I can't stand that. And a coon is just, especially the man, is just a representation that this man is so weak. He is so yellow. He's so anything you want to call him that he won't stand up against white supremacy. So he's going to bow his knee to Baal, kiss the feet of white supremacy and serve it. And his children is watching this. And his woman is watching this, and it's sad. We have no leadership as we should. Sure, it's a few brothers out there taking a leadership position. Sure, and they're fighting very hard. But that isn't the majority. Look at even look groups like Black Lives Matter. Look who the face of that group, a bunch of women. And look what that group is turning into as well. Black Lives Matter has turned into a black LGBT black feminist group. It's not really fighting for what it's supposed to be fighting for. That's why you don't hear me talking about Black Lives Matter like that. And when you have these demonic white supremacists always calling everybody a Black Lives Matter activist, it lets you know like they're so programmed, they're so stupid that they don't even know what they're talking about. Because most people that know about what's going on and most of you real activists not really feeling Black Lives Matter like that, because we ain't got time for all that other mess you're talking about. We talking about what's going on with our life and, what's trying to fix our community. That's what we care about on this end. That's why I tell people I don't join groups. Don't ever try to put me in nobody's group. I may get along with all my brothers and sisters. That's what I'm supposed to do. But I just don't like being bound to groups, because when you be bound to groups, you're bound to other people's rules and all this other stuff. And I'm just too much of a free spirit to be bound by anybody. Well, of course, Paul is going to be the blacks that's going to talk about you the most. There's a lot of blacks that's happy on the plantation. That's what a lot of guys don't understand. They happy on the plantation. They love it. So when you rattle them feathers and you don't make Massa feel good, it's going to be some black that's going to come defend Massa, and Massa ain't got to get his hands dirty. Like I said, we are the only group of people, I mean, at the most I've ever seen, that have suffered the most at the hands of these devils, and we would defend them with our lives. We would defend them with our lives, even to this day. That's why these people, and they make sure to keep you in that position. That's why they won't stay away from you. They don't want you to get with your brothers and sisters to actually learn, of your history, learn of yourself. They don't want you to do for self. That's why they want you so dependent upon them, because that's how they keep you in that subservient position. And you really want to know the real reason why a lot of times black women don't respect us as black men is because we don't create an economy for them. And then we give excuses for it. Well, because it was racism, because of it. Let me tell you something. They had black people that created whole towns in worse situations that we dealing with right now. Worse. The people in Black Wall Street didn't have the freedom we got today to create anything. And yet they did it. Yes, their stuff was destroyed, but they still did it. We could do it today. And all they got to do to get you to stop doing something is call you racist, which that's the funniest thing ever, that they can call you when they don't even know the definition of the word they're saying themselves. And yet you take it hook, line, and sinker. Black men. Now you may say, well, black women, I don't care what black women do. I don't care, because if you get your act together, they get their act together. Not all this, you got a lot of weak men that's going to run around our community and say, well, if the women get their act together, we'll get our act together. No, we won't. No, we won't. That's being out of order. You still being led by the skirt of your woman. Worrying about if they get their act together. They just managing the best way they can because you're not taking your place. It's just that simple. If we take a hard stance and say we're going to get our families together, our education, we're going to protect our communities. We're not going to accept thugs. We're not going to accept hyenas. We're not going to accept low-class living. We're not going to accept none of that mess no more. We're going to be on the straight and narrow like we once were prior to desegregation. Watch how quick our community turn around. Make education important. Not buying a pair of LeBron James. Not buying another iPhone. What's wrong with the iPhone you got? That sort of thing. We put too much pride in materialism. But as we was talking about earlier, the reason why people laugh at us as black men is because we constantly want to coon it up, even when we get money. Listen, Lil Wayne, let's talk about him. He got money, and yet he's on here just cooning it up. Why? You don't see no white man trying to do that to us, or no Hispanic or any other group trying to do that with us when they get money. But only black men would do some crap like that. Floyd Mayweather was doing it not too long ago. Now, Floyd Mayweather is almost getting close to $1 billion in net worth, and he's still doing it. He doing it now. It's like y'all so weak to try to, and Floyd is self-made. That's the thing. Why he should have the worst attitude, the best attitude toward him, really, because he's self-made, and yet he still was doing that mess. That's why we aren't respected as black men. We not. Call it what it is. And I say we, and that includes me, because I'm part of the group. I got to suffer with you, unfortunately. I got to worry about the next black man trying to cut my throat or another black man's throat to try to please massa. First of all, that's our biggest problem. We got to worry about the other black man that's trying to do the work of massa. See, Ku Klux Klan ain't got to get their hands dirty. Trump supporters ain't even got to get their hands dirty because they got some black dudes that'll get the work done for them. And it's sad what I'm about to say was you would think the, more melanin you have in your body, the more you closer to, Mother Africa. No, it's like the darker a lot of you are, the more cooning you pull. And it's like the lighter I see brothers are, it's like the more pro-black you are. Please explain that to me. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at this quick little video real quick of Lil Wayne. And then we're gonna talk about this real quick. It's just really sad. It's extremely sad.
A lot of backlash from people about that. Would you change what you said, or you still feel the same way? What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea is that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I don't know that you put a name on. It's not a name. It's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police and for a reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matter, especially to my.
Do you separate yourself from it?
I don't feel connected to a damn thing that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy as you. Connected to this flag right. As I'm connected, I'm a gangbanger, man. I'm connected.
He ended our interview angrily.
I ain't no politician.
Lil Wayne is in the business of making music, not apologies. For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in New York.
Really? A man who makes his living using offensive language offended by a question? Okay, that's one way to end an interview.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're talking about the cup. Yeah, doggone right. It got a good shake in here. So anyway, mind your business. But yeah, so you saw what Lil Wayne did. He just blew up about being asked a question. Now, if he didn't want to answer that question, it's a very easy way he could have answered that question by saying, listen, ma'am, I know about it. And it's kind of messed up that, everybody just need to get along. And at least in my concerts, when I make music, everybody's together and they just having fun. And that's what I want to do. I just want to put out this music and just bring more people to be happy and peaceful. And I'm not going to speak on that too much because I'm not too versed in those issues. So I'm gonna let people, that know what they're talking about. They probably want to ask them. I mean, that's all he had to say. But he getting all mad and upset because she's asking him that question. Now, you saw when he stood up and you saw the look she had in her face. I don't know if you caught that. She had that look like, man, I didn't want to interview this dude anyway. They got me here looking at this fool. I mean, and then when he talking about, his women or whatever, I'm like, you have to be a desperate somebody to sit up there and fool with that dude. You imagine looking at that man? Jesus Christ, he look like a rat. A human form of a rat. But aside from all that, he said that his life matter and that's fine, whatever else. But he's constantly cooning it up. And what kind of legacy is that going to leave for our children to constantly watch people within our community do this sort of thing? We have people, that promote other races of people like they're better or something. We the only one doing that. I have looked constantly of other groups of people doing the same thing. Can't find it. We are the only ones who are so sick. We the only ones that's still on the plantation. We don't have physical chains, but we have mental chains in our minds that we don't want to get off of Master's plantation. We want to stay there like some of the slaves when they told them, hey, you free, you need to go. And they're like, what are we going to do now? We'd rather stay here. And that's a lot of you, unfortunately. You still want to be on the plantation. And I tell y'all in my videos so many times, we need to stop listening to these white supremacists. They need to stay in their place, and you need to tell them stay in their place, mind their business. They have no bearing on the conversations that we're having, because unless we calling them in for some reason, they need to stay out of our business. But every time it goes back to people like Lil Wayne being a coon. Let me go see what white folks think about this. Well, make white people happy. That's all it's about. And when I say coon whoring, is because he's whoring himself out for money. And so just like any kind of woman that's a prostitute or whatever, what is she going to do to entice you? She's going to wear certain clothes. She's going to show certain skin. She's going to say certain things or whatever to entice you because she want to get your money. That's what she want. Same thing with Lil Wayne. He going to say about no racism. He's going to say he don't know about Black Lives Matter. He going to say all lives matter. He going to say all this stuff just to entice white supremacy to come along with him to hopefully get their money. That is not a definition of a man at all. And any man who's doing that, he's not a man. He is not to be respected. And we need to get a certain code in our community, like the white supremacists. They got their own code. I give them that. We need to excommunicate coons out of our community. There's no redemption. There's no coming back from that, being a Benedict Arnold to your own community. And you're doing this stuff nationally. Now, this fool said that, he has no connection to anything. Understand something. We as black people are a different group of people. We are not these people. That's not where we come from. We come from, in Africa, a tribalistic society. We were all in different tribes. And since no matter what, even though a lot of us haven't stepped foot on a continent of Africa, we still have more of a tribal nature within our hearts. That's why we super cop up real quick. And we don't even know each other when it comes to white supremacy or certain things that happen. And we all feel it at the same time. Why? Because we all connected as one in a tribalistic and even on a spiritual level. That's why you look at black people are the most spiritual people out there. Well, why are we the most spiritual people? Well, didn't those of you who believe in the Bible, they say God created man in his image. And we know the first man and woman was, of course, look like us, period. So since we created in his image, that's why we are more spiritual than anybody else. And not to be spiritual and walk around here acting like these white supremacists saying they believe in God or whatever, but they don't have no God in their heart. They just full of the devil and children of the devil. And this is why we have so many problems in our community now. It's because we had our own religions, our own spirituality, and there's nothing wrong with being in tune with your spirituality because that's being your original nature. But this is why we are constantly laughed at and not respected. No woman's going to respect a man that's going to sit here and bow himself down and bow his knee constantly to another man. Another man that don't even have any bearings of anything. A man who stole everything he got. A man that raped, pillaged, gave out diseases, made treaties with people, and just went back on them. Act like they're the holy people, but yet they don't do anything to match that. You look at the Native Americans right now in North Dakota and made treaties with them people, and what they doing? They pepper spraying them, they shooting them with rubber bullets, they arresting them, destroying their TPs, doing all this stuff. I tell people, if you wouldn't trust Satan himself to make his promises, why in the world would you trust them? Why? I don't get it. But as black men, we have to take a hard stance on this cooning. We have to. It's time out for that. Our children don't need to see that. And of course, Lil Wayne should not be the model of the community. But for me, it's more sickening to watch men who got millions of dollars sit there and act like that and constantly coon like that. Now, notice when Skip Bayless was asking Lil Wayne questions, he was all nice and docile and answering him real soft. But when his sister was asking him a question, just one question, he gets all mad. He throws off the mic. He's attacking her literally, but he didn't do that to Skip Bayless. See, it's that sort of thing right there. You're so quick to attack black people, but you're scared of them white folks. You're scared to tell them a word. You won't. I guarantee he won't open his mouth up to a white man like that. He won't do that because he know better, because he want to be a coon. And I just don't have no patience for that. I can't stand that sort of thing. Any black man that come around me doing that mess, you're not going to be around me very long, because to me, you are the enemy more than a white supremacist could ever be. Because you look like me, could get in with us and ultimately stab us in the back. We as black men got to take a stance and stand up and be men. We have to create our own economy. We can do it. We have enough talent. We have the giftings. We have the people. We have all that. But some of you is not willing to make the sacrifices. Some of you are not willing to stand up and say, you know what, this is what we're going to do. Aren't you tired of begging the white man for everything? Aren't you tired of it? Aren't you tired of being disrespected? And don't ever say as a black man, well, we act this way, that people respect us more. See, that's your problem. You're still worrying about other people respecting you. Let me tell you something. When you do for yourself, when you provide for your community, when you build businesses, when you get your streets clean, you don't have to worry about nobody respecting you. Why? As long as you have your community's respect, as long as you have your children's respect, as long as you have your wife respect or your husband's respect, that's all that matters. Not a group of people that don't like you. You got to understand, there's a lot of them that don't like us no matter what we do. You could be a thug or you could be a president. We have seen it. Doesn't mean they're going to like you. Your skin is the problem with them. That's what it is. So stop with that mentality that, well, if we do this, maybe they'll like us. Well, if we do that, and stop explaining stuff to them too, black men, constantly. Well, you know, you be at marches and all this other stuff, and you up there telling the police, well, you know, this is what we go through, and you treat us this way. They don't care. Stop. If they cared about you, they wouldn't do it. That's what you guys don't understand. I can't stand seeing black men doing that sort of thing. You know, women, I can go with them a little bit, but men, I can't stand that. You know, we still out there marching, begging, protesting, and nothing's happening out of it, because when you protest, a concrete action got to happen after it. That's why you have protested so much. That's why these people are laughing at you too. They're laughing at you, black man, because whatever. They just gonna go in the street. They're gonna say Black Lives Matter. They're gonna say whatever. And then they're gonna go back to their house. They're not gonna boycott anything. They're gonna keep buying their Jordans. They're gonna keep buying their iPhones. They're gonna keep buying all the stuff, all the clothes that they really don't need that cost hundreds of dollars. But they're gonna go buy all that. They're gonna work and make us billions of dollars. We don't care about that. Let them have their little thing in the street. If they get a little bit out of hand, at least in our mind, we'll rough them up, put them in jail, and that'd be the end of it. It'll be business as usual. You don't stick to anything. You just don't. I'm just giving tough love. We talked about banking black. And because our community is so ran off of emotion, you don't understand. We dealing with a devil, and this devil has studied us very carefully, and he knows what our trigger points are. He knows what to do to make us respond. He knows what to say to make us respond. He knows how long we're going to be with something. We can't stay with something for 12 months, for 24 months. It has to be an emotional response. Well, a black person get killed. We in our emotions. So let's bank black. Now, I don't hear nobody talking about banking black no more. And then when you talk about banking black, you have the white supremacists come in and say, that's racist to do that. But it's not racist to have all white banks and all white Hollywood and all white movies. And none of that's racist, just when you talk about it. And then the sad part is I watch y'all in the comment section engaging these white supremacists say, it's not racist. We just say, stop explaining stuff to them. I get tired of watching y'all explain stuff to them. I may not say a whole lot in the comment section, but I'm watching what you're saying to people. And like, stop doing it. They don't come up. They don't worry about what we think about them. They just do their devilment. When are we gonna be courage? Have courage. I'm sorry. We're gonna have courage. When we gonna tap into our African warrior, our Mandinka warrior selves, or shoot, be like Shaka Zulu or other warriors? When are we gonna tap into that, black man? When are we gonna do that? Do you know that's the thing they fear of you the most? You have so many white folks have told me that. They fear you getting your act together. They fear you saying enough is enough. We're going to do for self. We're going to grow our own food. We're going to become healthy. We're not going to eat this slave food no more. We're not going to eat this Neanderthal food no more. Eating all this raw meat and red, nasty meat and all these, pork and everything else that we're eating is killing black people off every day. When we going to rise up and take leadership of our education? Just posted a story today about a white supremacist telling our kids that whites are superior. And yet we still will let them educate our kids. The people who have so many degrees in our community, we can't get together for nothing to try to solve our own problems. We need to educate our own children. We can't keep entrusting these white supremacists to educate our children. That's why they come out of school. They already screwed up because they be indoctrinated into white supremacy. It's sad when people tell me in a video, I didn't even know this happened in history. It's sad. It's extremely sad. But yet taxpayer money goes out to all these different schools. Taxpayer money go out to sometimes better districts than the ones you even paying tax dollars for. I mean, it's very discriminatory how they do these things with schools. And I think all children should be treated the same. I don't think, because these children have a little bit more money, you should treat them better. But black men, we have to stand up. We have to fix our community. Some of you are out there always chasing behind black women and what they do with their hair and all this other stuff. It let me know right there you are a weak and feminized man, because a real man can care less about what a woman do with her head. We trying to fix the community. And if you understood anything about women, if you got with a woman, most women would try to please you. And if natural hair pleased you, she probably would go that route if you supported it and if you provided the hair products and the proper beautician and everything else to upkeep the natural hair. But some of you run off at your mouth about the natural hair, but you're not trying to contribute the money to upkeep the natural hair too. Because as a man, it is your job to provide for your household. And it goes back to a lot of things that's problems with us within our community. Some of us in our mind think it's the white man's responsibility to take care of our children and to take care of our household. I am against welfare and EBT, and I would smile the day they cut that mess off, because that'll be the day that black people will get our act together. Yes, I know more white folks are on welfare. The numbers are out there, but I don't care what white folks do. That's their business. I'm talking about what we do, and it's crippling our community. We having people that's 5, 10, and 15 and 20-year welfare recipients. We have generational welfare recipients. And don't tell me this crap about we don't have no money and we poor, because poor people don't walk around with $200 shoes. Poor people don't go get $150 and $200 shoes every 3 months or every month. Poor people can't afford that mess. Poor people can't go get the latest iPhone that come out. Poor people can't go get what's these different, what's the jeans called? True Religion? I don't know about different brands. Cause see me, I go in the stores. Matter of fact, this shirt I'm wearing just around the house, I got this shirt for $3 at Walmart. Happy with it. I'm always looking for specials. Not trying to spend money like that. Some people think some of the suits I wear are expensive. If you a suit people, you know it wasn't expensive. But I always catch a deal, I catch a sale, and I try to stretch out my money. I'm not trying to impress none of y'all or anybody. As long as I'm neat, clean, and presentable, that's all that matters at the end of the day. But me as a black man, it's my job to make sure to take care of my family, my household, make sure the bills are taken care of the best way I can. And if you're doing that, your woman will help you do that. But we can't just depend on them. We have to do things and take the lead ourselves. You got to understand, we have to go back in history. We have to look at how we were prior to desegregation. That's why a lot of people who know about history say our community was better during segregation. We had more businesses during segregation. Our family structure was together during segregation, because after desegregation, some of y'all went crazy. Y'all did. Y'all got around some of these people. You took on their ways, and that's why we screwed up. We all are different people for a reason. What works for one group of people and their ways may not work for another group of people. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. We are a different group of people. Our children can be stubborn. Our children can be rebellious. So time out don't work for black children. But yet you let these people who you see the stuff with their kids and what they do try to govern black people and tell us what to do with our kids. And that's why our kids doing the same things now. That's why our kids running amok. And then they building prisons for them every day. Every day. Somebody just shared me a video of a 12-year-old boy. He was just screwed up. His mama screwed him up, everything. They sentenced that 12-year-old boy to life in prison without parole as an adult. But if you've been watching my videos, you would understand from the American Psychological Association article from, I think, March 2014, that they look at black children as an adult in nature at the age of 10. But a white child, he's just a little 10-year-old boy. But you guys don't want to deal with the harsh reality of what we live in here in America. Some of you want to talk about women all day and what these women not doing and these different races of women. Man, look, dude, we got so much to do in our community. The thing is, the problem with us too as black people, especially as black men, we don't see past our nose. We don't make chess moves. And see, when it comes to the other ones, they trying to make chess moves. That's why they keep themselves and what they think about. Oh, well, America got to be fixed because I don't want my children to be living in America like this. This is what they thinking. They thinking about their children. You just thinking about you and what you're going through. You're not making the right moves to set yourself up a year from now, 5 years from now. It takes planning. It takes analysis to do that. And you focusing on $200 shoes ain't going to cut it. Because you think how much money you spend in a year on shoes, you could spend a lot in that somewhere else. Maybe some education so I could possibly open up a small business. Hopefully this business can grow. I can hire more people. Schools. We need that. Shoot, we need a radical movement on the abortion side as well. And black men could take that lead as well. If black men would say, look, I'm not getting with no chick that had an abortion. If we all got on that, that will stop. If we would stop aborting our kids for about 12 months, it would make our population to skyrocket. But we taking our children to Planned Parenthood, and a lot of black men are encouraging it. A lot of them are. And look, I'll give you that $400, for that abortion. I ain't ready to be no parent right now. Well, you know good and well what it takes not to be a parent, brother. But yeah, you'll give a chick some money to go get an abortion. When Planned Parenthood was created, Margaret Sanger, the leader of Planned Parenthood, created that to kill black folks. It wasn't for nobody else but killing you, because there was too many of you. You were like weeds, according to Margaret Sanger. That whole entity was created to kill you off. And yet you take your kids there, hook, line, and sinker. And the sad part is that black men support that. Not all, of course, not all, but as a lot of them do. See, we don't have a place to talk, and then out of all these problems, now we just coon whoring too. And you wonder why everybody laughs at us. No, you know why nobody really takes us seriously. Why would they? When we doing all this mess by choice? Because some things are white supremacy, and I will point that out. You know, I'm the best one. Well, not the best, but one of the people that will point that stuff out. But we also got to point out what's not white supremacy too. Now you can say, well, it's these things that the white supremacists did had effects. Yes, I get with that too. But at the same time, we can't use effects as a way of cop out. We can't do that. When Pookie's are hanging out on the corner, and when Pookie's shooting it up, and Pookie killing our little kids going to school, our little girls, our young men who's trying to go to school and learn something in these neighborhoods, we can't say white supremacy shot them. Not in that instance, because there was no white. Let's say no white folks around. We have to take a hard stance with that. We have to get out all the element, and we can't be trying to carry the hyenas and the thugs and the coons and hopefully they can be redeemed. No. If you're killing black people, you're an enemy. How is it? Let me tell you something. The Ku Klux Klan was killing black people and hanging them and burning crosses as much as some of us are killing each other. We would be, trust me, y'all be ready to tear the city up. But if we doing it to each other, it sickens me. It sickens me to watch black people do this to each other, because I love my brothers and sisters. I don't want nothing to happen to you. Nothing. And I know some people are not going to like what I'm saying. As long as I'm talking about white supremacy. Yeah, say it, Phil. But if I'm talking about things that's going on that I care more about what happens to us than anything else. Oh, man, you know, why he's saying that? Them white people must have told him something. I said, yeah, that's how limited your thinking is. Like, white people really want for you to live your life and get better and create businesses and create schools and stop killing each other and stop using drugs and, you know, protect our old people and, you know, get healthy and stop eating slave food and stop eating a Neanderthal diet. Yeah, they really want all that. Y'all got to come with a better argument than that. I ain't been monitoring these comments, but I guess I've been talking. But anyway, you know, I mean, I'm just kind of looking at the comments for now. But yeah, yes, you're right, Sheila. Self-responsibility is important. It's very, very important. You know, when I look at things in my life, I always look at what part did I play in it? Because you have to. Because if you sit up there and say, even in relationships, right? You let's say you have a breakup of you know, your girlfriend or your ex-wife. They could have done something to you, but you can always look at it and say, okay, what part did I play in that? What did I allow to happen? And that's why this happened. Sometimes you allow certain things you shouldn't have, you know, allowed. And we need to take responsibility when we allow things or we do things. And if you look up and you 40 years old and you're a grown man and you don't have nothing, you wasted your life. By the time you're 40 years old, you should be well into your career business and doing very well at that point. We got some brothers running around here, 40 plus years old, still acting like they 19. Can't settle down. You can't build a family. You still jumping from job to job, and you're 40. And then some of you trying to chase these, act like these young boys and even dress like them. Want to be in the club with them. And it's sad. And that's another group of men I don't have no patience with. What's wrong with some of our brothers? Why are you so afraid to commit? That's another thing that's hurting our community too. What's wrong with building families? What's wrong with getting one woman and say, you know what, I'm going to build, a great thing with this one woman. Of course, choose wisely. But what's wrong with that? I mean, when you get in your 30s, okay, at least by that age, you say, okay, you should have had your fun in your 20s and did all the stuff you wanted to do. Now in your 30s, you should be a little bit well into your career, a little bit more money. You meet a woman that's mature as well and wants some out of life, of course, and build families. But some of you think you're going to miss something. You ain't missing nothing. You're really not. Chasing this woman and that woman, all you're going to do is be broke, and it gets tiresome. And that's one of the biggest complaints that I hear, that, well, these men don't want to settle down. Or you got a girlfriend or maybe even a wife, and she's always looking at you funny because you're always doing some sort of dirt. Come on, man. How are we going to build our kids to be these great people we want them to be? We talking about kings and queens. Well, the king never was chasing other women. He wasn't chasing peasant women because he had a queen. So why would you chase peasants when you got your queen right there? That's stupid. And if you got a problem with your woman, sit down and talk to her. So whatever it may be, have an adult conversation. Don't yell, scream, cuss, or do none of that. Just talk. Try to figure out your problems, what that may be. But you have to settle down, guys. Because what I noticed in other groups versus ours, they constantly building their families. And you look at a lot of successful people, usually it's a couple that's successful, and they pass it along to their kids and set their kids up. But we not trying to build families, and that's something we need to push. We need to stop taking our children to be murdered in Margaret Sanger's black genocide clinic called Planned Parenthood. We need to build families. We need to take responsibility. If we get someone pregnant, whether you like the chick or not, you should not be laying your seed in places that you don't even like the chick. That's stupid. Be careful who you're making kids with. Don't make kids with hyenas, because you're looking for trouble. Just like that other story I just saw that I got to cover, where that hyena killed her own kid just to get back at the dude. That sort of thing. You need to be very cautious of making children and try to build families, because we got to save our community. Because the reason why white supremacy tear us apart and separate us and do all that, because if we fix all our gaps that we have as a community and put that together, then and only then, when we are attacked, we can come together on a united front. Yeah, I just got on here just a little while, but my thing was about, like I said, Lil Wayne earlier. He was just an example of what we're seeing today with a lot of our brothers just coon whoring. That's all. And that stuff has to stop. And, if I see it, I'm definitely going to call that stuff out with these people who's really can make a difference within our community, but they choose not to do that. And until we stop all this stuff from happening, until black men stop being willing to be coons, we're going to keep being laughed at. These people go into their meetings and they say, oh, they just up there laughing at Lil Wayne, laughing at him. And he'll get it at the end of the day, possibly. But I don't want to hear it when he get it, because trust me, every last one of them is going to have that wake up call. We know what that wake up call going to be. And the first thing, I'll be the first one to say, that's good for you. That's what you deserve, doing that mess on TV. I'm not saying he got to support Black Lives Matter. I'm not saying that. But dog, I mean, it's just a simple question. You storm out like a brat because you're afraid to even address a problem. But I guarantee you, if a black man step on his shoes, you talking about he want to fight. And then that's mess talking about he pulling out, he gang banging and all this other stuff. That's another problem. All these gangs, what are you creating out of these gangs? Nothing but mischief, death, and misery. You ain't doing nothing with yourself. And you see these people building prisons for you every day. They building you all kind of prisons. Don't y'all watch that documentary on Netflix called The 13th? These people are making you slaves, and they loving every minute of it. That's why they let y'all commit the crimes y'all commit. Trust me, they have the stuff to stop y'all from committing crimes today. Trust me, they do. But they let y'all do it so they can get more slaves. And y'all still don't understand that. And some of y'all love being on the plantation of jail. I'll go to jail. I don't care. I like it over there. You like being caged up like an animal? I mean, that's not normal. This is why we need fathers around. This is why we need the men to take a stand. Because when you have fathers around, they teach the sons. And to some of the women that's watching, don't stop a man from being in his son's life. I don't care if you don't agree with him. As long as he's not a criminal or doing something that's wrong, don't stop that man. I don't care if you don't like his new girlfriend or his new wife. I don't care if you don't like her. Be a grown woman to say, you know what? I may not like the situation, but it's about my son at this point. It ain't about all that. Because his father is the only one going to be able to tell him how to be a black man in America. If he's a decent man. Hopefully. Because we also have to have our ladies to stop picking thugs too. Yeah, I'm going there. Because some of you pick thugs at an early age and they get the best of you. And, you know, they have a couple of kids. Then when you get older, you want a good black man. And then it puts you in a peculiar position because some of these brothers don't have kids like that. I know a lot of brothers that don't have kids, have good careers. But yet you shame some of these brothers for not want to be with you. That stuff has to stop too. You should value yourself enough to say, I want a decent man and I'm not letting no man impregnate me unless he want to marry me, unless he's a good man and he wants to provide and protect and love and care. And I mean, y'all have to start valuing your womb and your bodies a lot more as well. We have to do this stuff together. It's not all black men, but I say more to black men because we the leaders. But this thug mentality, it has to go. It has to go. I'm sick of this thug mentality as a thing because I've known dudes that try to be fake thugs to get some of y'all. This dude ain't a thug, he a bookworm, but he gonna try to act like one because he feel that's some way he can attract some decent looking sister. We have to stop that too because that's counterproductive. Decent men is what we need to strive to be. Educated men of purpose. Men is going to be good fathers. Men is going to be good husbands. Because the problem is we have so many issues too with black men is that some black men are attacked, when they're children, because the mom can't get over the situation with the dad. And because the son looks like the dad, the son is attacked a lot too. And he suffers a lot. Because it's like she's seeing that dad all over again in her own son. But that son is not the man. That's your son. That's part of your flesh and blood, too. We have a lot of brothers that grew up like that in abusive households, mentally abusive households, or are trying to feminize these young men as well. That's abusive to a young man. And then some of these brothers, that's why we're seeing some of these problems where brothers with this feminism, they being feminists themselves. Yeah. They being feminized. Some of them grew up hating black women, don't want nothing to do with them. But it's not because the black women that they dated that did them anything. It's the mom that just ruined it for them. And if this one girl show any trait of the mother, he just lose it and he don't want to be bothered. We have to talk about all these issues and problems that we have. And there are many. And a lot of times I don't get into these issues because sometimes it's like to have these conversations. Y'all don't want to have a conversation. You want to argue. You want to prove you're right. You want to you're getting your feelings a lot about the situation. Start attacking other people. It's just like that's why a lot of times I don't fool with these conversations. But we do need to get into them. Because they're very important. We so screwed up. We have the black police. And what I mean by the black police, we got people trying to assess who's more black than the other. We got people trying to assess who's people with their spouses. We got all these kind of factions in our own group. Colorism. We got everything. And none of it is conducive to the love and progression of the black community. None of it. It's just division. And that old devil sitting back just laughing. And I say, look at them how stupid they are. I got them twisted all kind of ways. Isn't it funny? They say they can't get together on nothing. That's why we constantly get laughed at. Because one thing they don't let you do, they don't let you go over there dividing them, do they? No. They don't let you divide their men and women. They don't let you divide them on skin tone and hair color and eye color. They don't let you divide them. They don't let you divide them on who they with and who they shouldn't be with. They don't let you get involved in none of their business. They keep you out. But you let them come in and govern, micromanage every part of your life. You let them come in and do that. Matter of fact, you go ask them about your life half the time. Well, the person called Beautiful Day, if only black people kill black people, then what about all the police killings? What about all of the white supremacist killings? I mean, that's very stupid. There's one person put, that's funny, blacks for Trump. You know, speaking of that, did you hear about that black Trump supporter that got thrown out of that rally? Now, this guy has been supporting Trump since 1992. He was coming to Trump to give him a letter because they say he wrote to Trump before and Trump wrote back to him. Trump called him a thug and threw him out. That's why I laugh at y'all black people. But, you know, it's keep on being on the plantation with massa and go ahead and do that. And then they go say, what about the Democrats? I don't support them either. I don't have a political party. I'm just trying to live my life and fix our own problems. Not no political party. Because at the end of the day, they all white folks and they ain't care about us like that. So it don't matter what they think about how they argue and all this other stuff. These white folks only want your votes and that's it. They're not going to do nothing for you. They're not going to fix the schools. They're not going to do nothing about crime. They're not going to, repeal the 13th Amendment, the part about prison slavery. They're not going to do any of that. But y'all be thinking that you're going to have some magical white politician come swoop in your community and save you. Like, I don't know why you think that. The only person going to save you is the person that's looking in the mirror. And the Lord. That's it. Nobody else. We have to fix our own stuff. We have to support black-owned businesses. We have to support black endeavors. Now, I've crafted I need to do this video called the 10 reasons why blacks don't support black-owned businesses and black endeavors. It's actually pretty lengthy. I'm going to get to that when I have time. But it's something that other groups don't participate in. This is why a lot of times they're more far ahead. Yes, we do have white supremacy. We have a racial hierarchy system. Yes. But how is it that other groups slide right in and they set up shop, do what they want to do, and they keep going and grow their stuff? And yet we have a lot of money collectively more than a lot of them. Well, it's because we are so divided. Like I said, we let white supremacy come in and micromanage our life. We go look to them. We don't build an economy for ourselves. There's so many different things, but I want to go into that step by step and explain the issue. Now, I could be just wasting my time. I don't know, but it is what it is. It's sad that, we say all this stuff that we want and all this stuff we want to do. But yeah, when it comes to the rubber meeting the road, it takes forever for us to do it. Or, somebody got to be on some scamming for you to do it, which is sad. Someone has to, I don't know, be reverend or whoever to get it out of you. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to, we, don't think, like I said, past our nose. We only see things just, what's in our face just today. We don't think, well, let's set this up so we can have that. Let's set that up so we can have that. That's not how we thinking. We'll sit here and complain about white institutions all day long, but yet won't create our own. That's why I don't get that. We'll complain about the news all day, but we won't try to establish our own or even help others establish their own. We complain about Hollywood, but we won't support independent films, or we won't support trying to build our own Hollywood. We won't do that. Or, we complain about all these different entities, music industry, everything we complain about, but yet we still go back to it. That's why we are the laughing stock. That's why. Think about it. These people don't take you seriously because you complain and go right back to them. I wouldn't take you seriously either. You complain. That's like complaining like, oh, your salads don't taste good. I can't stand them. Oh, they're nasty salads. But then you come back tomorrow and buy another one. And you complain about the salad, come back to buy another one. So in my mind, I say, well, obviously you like it. You're back every day. So that's how they look at you. Obviously, you like what we do because you keep watching our movies. You keep shopping and buying the music. You keep patronizing our institutions. You don't create schools for your kids. You keep complaining about how racist we are, but yet you keep bringing your kids here. You ain't creating schools for yourselves and showing us that you don't like what we're doing. And so you're going to pull your kids out and put them in your own institutions. So why should we even pay attention to you? That's what they say. And that's why we're always being laughed at. One person said, what about the woman cashing in on men for child support? Scam, all while not letting the father see their kids, but collecting child support. See, we have to remove ourselves from this whole society, and that's part of it. We need to build families again, as I stated before, and black women participating in feminism is not even the black woman's struggle or the black woman's fight. Because let me tell you something. I've done story after story after story about horrible things that's happened to black women, and none of these white feminists come out at all to defend black women. None. And yet we still see black women getting involved with that. Feminism comes from the white man oppressing his woman, not letting her vote, not letting her own land, not letting her make her own decisions, not letting her work. And she wanted rights to do that. So she fought to get that through feminism. That's their fight. But every time when someone needs a big mouth and a powerful voice, here they come. Let's drag in black people to talk for us. And that's what they did with the black women. We have never oppressed the black woman. We have never kept black women from working, from voting. We don't affect their pay because we don't have an economy enough to affect their pay. This is stuff that they do. And we need to get out of white people's business. That's our big problem. We're too much in white people's business. We sit up there involving ourselves in the matters of white people with all these, family law courts and all this other stuff. If we should be man and woman enough to settle our issues and stick to them. But we should also pick good people enough to say that, listen, I know they're going to be responsible to do the right thing. We don't have to get these people involved. But some people, yes, they want to play these games. And because you're emotional and you're mad at the dude, you don't want the guy to see his child. And then this child grow up to be a thug or be resentful or be a hyena. And then you want to know, well, what happened? But a child needs a mother and a father. That's why I say we got to completely remove ourselves from this white society, America, and into our own. And fix our own problems. You know how the Asian community, how they have their own community and they don't get involved in none of this mess. The Hispanic community, they have their own and they don't get involved with all this mess. And the one thing that these other groups have, and this is the thing that I hate the most from slavery, Asian community, and it's multiple, groups within the Asian community. I'm not completely blanking as one. They have their own language. The Hispanic community have their own language. Arab community have their own language. Native Americans too. They have their own language. We were stripped of our language. And that's what I hate the most out of everything is that we don't have an African dialect that we can speak because a language barrier is a natural segregation. So we could discuss our problems with nobody knowing because we'll be speaking to each other. That's what I hate the most that happened to us in slavery. And they knew what they was doing. They didn't want us talking. They didn't want us to have our identity. They didn't want us connected to Africa. They didn't want that. Because the most dangerous black man and woman is a black man and woman that knows where they come from and has some sort of knowledge of self. And when you start thinking about, like even me today, I was thinking about, slavery and how all our last names that we have as black people is connected to some white man that was the owner of our family member. whatever your last name is, that white guy owned your family, and they labeled the slave the last name of the slave owner. And more, I'm looking into that. I'm thinking about that. Is that a lot of us as black people, we ain't on a plantation, but we still labeled with the brand of the slave master with our names. We constantly are labeled that way. And I'm like, maybe we should look more into changing our names to African names and remove this identity of a slave master on our families. I know for some people that may be revolutionary. Some people may not get that. You may say, I ain't been no slave or whatever. But think about it. We are the only group of people that's wearing the brand of a European on our last names. Asians don't come here with that brand, do they? Arabs don't come here with that brand of the European, but we still branded hundreds of years later as black people. These people can't stay away from us like we say. Well, shoot, they feel they still connected to us. They probably still feel like we part of their slaves because, shoot, we bear their names. One says to say Africans don't like us either. Some of them may not. Some of them may not. Some of them look at us as lazy. I mean, some of them do. Some of them look at us as we don't take advantage of our opportunities. But not all of them feel that way. I mean, but you got to understand, white supremacy did a propaganda campaign all over the world. People all over the world that hate us, it's because of them. It ain't because of nobody else. It's not because we go into their countries as black people in America and doing stuff to other people. We haven't done anything to nobody, right? So it's their propaganda showing the worst of the worst about us. And you think other countries don't see that? That's why we started the white on white crime videos and all the different videos we started on the second channel. It's because, wait a minute, we're going to bring balance to this. We're going to show your stuff too. That way, everybody's stuff going to be shown. We no more of that hiding stuff. Now, any of you who making videos, start posting this white on white crime videos. Post them because the media won't post them. Now, it may not be, something you want to do, but it helps because the media all day long, they want to talk about black people, have these big think tanks and all this other mess. But yet they do some heinous stuff to each other and to cops. I started a series on my second channel called War on Cops. And that series is going to be about white male suspects doing things to cops. And we never hear about it. But let it be a black dude. We'll hear about it 24/7. His picture plastered up. His kids plastered up. His wife, girlfriend, mama, grandmama. Everybody plastered up all on the screen. No filtering of the face. Mentioning the name already. Flags half staff if a black dude do something. But when these white male suspects kill a police officer, shh. Yeah, it happened and we reported it, but he's in jail. I mean, like that. Blue lives don't matter then. All lives matter. None of that's happening then. They trying to create these laws now because of talking about Louisiana Blue Lives Matter bill. But they don't create it off of all the white male suspects that have killed police officers. Yeah. The indigenous peoples, yes, they suffered a lot with all those diseases they brought over here. They brought a lot of vile, nasty diseases. You understand, like Trump, what Trump said about Mexico sending their worst? Europe sent their worst. Europe didn't send their best over here. Europe, the best of Europe stayed in Europe, stayed in with the Queen. The worst degenerates came over here. The ones they didn't want in their society came over here. Look at all the diseases and plagues they had in Europe around the Dark Ages and stuff like medieval times and all that. Just nasty. And the Indians didn't have all that over. Well, I'm sorry. I grew up in a different time period. The Native Americans didn't have that over here. They didn't have no smallpox. They didn't have influenza over here. I mean, I did one video. They ran through every disease they didn't have over here. To them, people brought that disease over here with them. Native Americans didn't have none of these problems. You know, anything that y'all afraid of, y'all made me want to support. He's talking about no more. One person said no more aliens. We can't afford them. Let them come on in. Hillary, open up the borders. Let them in. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Anything that affects you, I want them to do it. I'm just at that point with it. Because you know what? They ain't taking no job from me. So what you talking about? Well, that part is true too, Jade. Yes, a lot of diseases were engineered to kill off blacks, and that's for sure. Well, you know, say I didn't say watching the comments. Well, I mean, I'm looking now. They bring up Chicago, but they never identify what's the race of the people and then if they do show the race of the people who committing the crime, is always black people. Like there's no Mexican gangs and over there, like there's no white gangs, no Asian gangs, none of that. It's just black people. Okay, well, see you later. I'm telling the truth. Mad 7206. People come and go all the time. I haven't even. I've been accepted that. But let me tell you how people are. For people who want to create videos, one day people like you because you're saying something they agree with. Then the next day you say something they don't agree with. I don't like him anymore. I'm unsubscribed. Okay, what do you want me to do? I gotta speak the truth for what it is. I'm not going to try to cater to nobody because that would be wrong. And I'm not being myself. If I start catering to other people, then I'm whoring myself out for attention and whoring myself out for viewership. Just speak the truth, and either people like it or they not. Nope, not drinking that Jack Daniels is a smoothie. Where's white? Okay, William Tarleton. Where's White Lives Matter at when that white man cut off his wife's head and put it in the freezer last week in front of his two children? Where White Lives Matter was at? Where White Lives Matter was at when you had a pastor and 9 other people beat 2 white teens, one of them to death and one of them severely injured for 14 hours with a belt on their genitals, stomach, back, and thighs. Where White Lives Matter at for that? Where was White Lives Matter at when a dad had raped his 12-year-old daughter and the judge only let him out with probation? Where White Lives Matter at for those stories? That's what I want to know. You know anything about that? Where's White Lives Matter for the St. Louis police officer that got killed by an 18-year-old white male? Where's White Lives Matter at for that? I don't hear them saying nothing. What was White Lives Matter at in North Carolina where you had a guy took a 6-year-old, chained her up in the woods, and he was a pedophile that got out of prison for 16 years, and luckily they found the girl. Where's White Lives Matter at for that? Where's White Lives Matter in the Dallas area where a white male met a white female college student, got her drunk, took her out, killed her, dismembered her body, and burned her? Where was White Lives Matter at for that? Now, these stories I'm referring to is on my second channel called Advice Show Media. So please don't go there about the Black Lives Matter, because now I'm recovering stories that I can say the same thing back to you. And I'm glad I'm doing that now. Yeah, I'm going to tell them because they have no room to talk. They don't. I'm covered, and I got more stories just sitting here waiting to go. They can't talk, and I'm making them stories so you guys can go reference those stories and say, yeah, but you not saying this, and White Lives Matter not saying that, and Blue Lives Matter not saying it. Like I said, we go come right back at them. We got to have the factual things that they're doing to retort those comments. Amanda Foster, what's going on? No, Justin Parker says they don't care about their own race. Obviously they don't. Because if they did care about their own race, then they would be trying to save these police officers that's constantly getting killed by white male suspects. They would. They'd be trying to save these white women, save these white children. They'd be trying to address that heroin epidemic. They were trying to address that crystal meth epidemic. I just seen a story the other day that some white mother was giving her child heroin, talking about it was feel good medicine. But you don't hear about that, do you? I heard about the Trump supporters burned down a black church and wrote on their vote. What they wrote on there? Vote Trump. Extreme One. I know that. I know they don't care about the poor ones. I know that. Kevin, I'm gonna let you do that, Kevin. Oh, talking about the election coverage. I'm on the fence with that. I'm gonna have to see how that's gonna work. Cause you could stream, I think, up to 8 hours before you cut off. So we'll see how that works. Why would people attack a church? Because they full of the devil. We know that. No church bothering nobody, but these devils been doing this mess for a long time. They are the original terrorists of America. Everything they've ever done, they either stole, destroyed, raped, pillaged. You know, I mean, come on. One person say the media narrative is to put systemic racism. It doesn't exist. You're right. It doesn't exist for white people. So you're right. It don't exist. But black people, I was kind of looking at the comments, guys. Why I'm not saying nothing too much. Oh, the Trump trolls. Hey, you know the trolls. They gonna show up. You know how that goes. It's what 12:18 at least Central Time, and the Trump trolls are out. Oh, don't worry about that ZJ Root Boy. Don't worry about that. Make sure you subscribe to my second channel, Advice Show Media. I will be covering that, about them cops being killed by that white supremacists. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk. That's another war on cops story. But like I said, well, let me tell y'all something. This is what I'm doing. I'm letting y'all know what I'm doing. Every single tactic that they used against us, I'm using against them. It's just that simple. And if they say, and look, and on these white on white crime stories, the trolls don't come say a word. They quiet as a mouse over there. Oh, y'all should see how quiet they are over there. They don't say a word about none of that. Nothing. But on these stories on this channel, they want to flood to that. Let's see here what we got. I don't use moderators, and I'm going to tell you why. Well, moderators can only be used unless you work for us. And that's the only way. Now, I just more so impromptu, so that's why I'm not really focusing on. I'm also just talking to y'all. You know, let the trolls do what they want to do. That's fine. It's no big deal. I did hear about Cam Newton. He's pissed off about the refs. Well, to put, at least I got a chance to block one person. Oh, there they go. They go one of them devils. He said, blacks make 15% of the population, but commit 50% of all murders. Black Lives Matter was true. They would do something about it. And what about the 6% murders that your community is committing? What about that 68? You went up a whole percent. 68% of the arrests for rape. Why you ain't doing something about that? I mean, because y'all, I'm telling you, that raping is, but you know, y'all been doing that mess ever since slavery and everything else. Raping is an epidemic for y'all. Children, animals, like y'all need some help. For real. I'm talking about the ones who's doing it, of course. Don't sit up here and talk about no murdering, because you don't care about black people enough to even be saying that. And 83% of white people that were killed were by other white people. You never addressed that either. About white on white crime. You say nothing about white on white crime. But see, the reason why they bring up this so-called murder rate is because they have to, you know, because they feel so low about themselves, they have to feel some sort of superiority to themselves. And it really, when they tell you that these white supremacists tell you they're superior, you can easily flip that on them. Really can flip it very well on them. You can say, okay, you superior in what? Getting lice? What? I mean, if you superior in getting lice, go ahead, you can have it. White supremacists who don't like to take baths, because when you came over here, you wasn't even taking baths. When you met the people that came over here, they were actually taking baths every day. You were shocked that they were bathing every day when you was bathing once a week. That's history. I ain't lying about that. You see a lot of them slave movies, how them slave masters be dirty. Just be looking a dust bunny, be looking like Pigpen from Charlie Brown, a dust cloud, nasty, yellow brown teeth. You seen a lot of them movies. These, boy, I need to slow down these comments. Jesus Christ, they moving so fast I can't even read them. Who is an Emmanuel? I don't see that name. Everybody keeps saying block Emmanuel. Who's Emmanuel? Oh, okay, got it. Emmanuel is gone. Yes, Abby, I heard about that. I'll get to it as I have time. I mean, I was taking care of so many different things this week. That's why you didn't see me for a few days. But, you know, then I think, let me see, today, Sister Sadia came by, filmed some videos. So hopefully I can get to my other videos that I have set for tomorrow. Shea butter is good. For me, I like African black soap products, and the African black soap body wash, African black soap lotion. I'm big about African black soap. Somebody was asking about Miss Gabriella. Miss Gabriella is taking care of her issues, you know, and she will be here when she finishes taking care of that. Someone asked about Tanya. Tanya, last time I spoke to her, is doing fine. The reason why you ain't seen her much is because I don't know if you noticed, I haven't been doing a lot of live streams for a long while because it's just my time is just so limited. Like right now I got a little time, but my time has been very limited where I can't do that. So since I can't do that, because see, you have to do it at a certain day, a certain time, and then coordinate with everybody's schedules. So what I may do is just just bring Tanya back on, like just do it, like an interview with her or a live stream just with her, and just have a conversation. We'll see how they work out. Yeah, you talking about that person was threatening your life. Well, they do that mess online. They ain't gonna do that mess to your face. They're not gonna do it to your face. Trust me on that. Topher Thomason. Yes, I do. To answer your question. All right. That one gone. I know I don't play that. Somebody asked about Cynthia. Yeah, we have to coordinate something, but I'm just like I said, I'm kind of busy on a whole lot of things. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I see what y'all talking about on the moderator thing though. But that's all right. I'm paying attention right now. I'm blocking. Somebody say Popeyes or KFC. Neither. That food bad for you. By the pipeline, I haven't looked into that story. Well, I mean, I know about it, and I've seen so much video about it. But I need to just put it together just right because I mean, it's a lot of messed up stuff going on down there. It really is. To answer that question, Extreme One, yes, all things will come to an end because the judgment. I mean, there's a judgment coming to that, and it's really at the door. You can't get away with murder, stealing, pillaging, taking people resources, creating diseases, giving people all kind of diseases, having innocent blood on your hands, sanctioning abortion. Sanctioning slavery, doing all this stuff, and don't have your day. It's going to come. I mean, it's bottom line. It's going to come. And what they don't realize is they know they're losing it, but they just don't know how to act with it. They of course it's everybody else's fault. Why it's happening? It's the blacks' fault. It's the immigrants' fault. It's everybody's fault but their own. But act like everybody else in control of the country or something. Oh, it's Obama's fault too. They wouldn't let him do nothing to blame him enough. I may look into that possibly next year, but I'm gonna have to bring somebody on to screen calls. Because let me tell you why a lot of times I stopped even just fooling with it. It was getting on my nerves because some people are so childish. I remember they would sit on the line for an hour, a whole hour, sometimes an hour and a half. And then you answer their call. They either play a recording or they'll say the N-word. I'm like, why would I sit on the line for an hour and a half to do that? That lets you know they are a dedicated troll. One person asked, do you think whites and blacks could ever live in harmony? unless the system of white supremacy was completely destroyed and no more, it may be a possibility. But as long as white supremacy is alive and well, that'll never happen. It just won't. Not on a grand scale. Maybe in a small scale, but not on a grand scale. Let's see. It's funny how these people are about Trump. It is so funny. Well, thank you, Miss. I guess Jim 1N183. Appreciate it. One person's screen name is called Brother Darkness. You know, I remember I used to put the comments up on the stream itself, actually, and I stopped doing that because, boy, y'all people. That's like, usually when you see me altering something, it's because there are people who don't know how to act like adults. That's just a bad thing. Next time I go to a YouTube event, I'm gonna talk to them about a few things. I'm gonna talk to them about Google Hangouts because now what some people have figured out is when they get a link to your Hangout, that they figured out a way to kick you off of your own Hangout. Like I'm making a list of things to talk to people about, and that's one of them. They need to figure out a firewall system for the Google Hangouts so that can't happen. Also, if they would go back to a feature they had a long time ago where you could, all your subscribers, they can comment, but anyone that wasn't a subscriber, it would go to comment approval. Like you had that option, and that was good because most of the trolls is not going to really be subscribed to you like that. So it's easy to kind of knock out the trolls versus now if you do comment approval, then you kind of penalizing your subscribers at the same time. And then if you have so many comments coming in, you don't really have all day to sit there and approve comments. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, anytime that I get a hold to the, like I go to an event or something like that with YouTube, I make sure to bring up the problems because, most people, when they go to those events, they don't try to say much or they just all, oh, I'm in a YouTube event. I'm like, oh, it's like going anywhere else to me. But I'm saying, who's the one making decisions? Let me go and I will beeline to those people. Let me get some emails. Let me chop it up with them. And, so I'll kind of do it like that. But yeah, the Google Hangout thing, I'm definitely going to address that because that's wrong. I mean, you shouldn't be able to kick somebody off of a Hangout, their own Hangout at that, just because you got a link. So I'm going to definitely, like I said, matter of fact, I know one guy I can email and see if he could give me an email to somebody else about that. I'll see if I can contact somebody on YouTube about that, and maybe we can see if we can get that to stop because that's wrong, and Google should not allow that on their platform. All they have to do is probably create some sort of firewall system, or maybe don't give the person that's on your Hangout certain rights other than to mute themselves or cut their camera off. That's it. Anything more than that, it shouldn't have any way to affect the stream. So I'll email that brother I met actually out of YouTube. So I'll email him probably tonight. Well, guys, it's been about an hour, 28 minutes or so. So, I appreciate everybody just joining me just for impromptu. And, well, let's check this out. Anyway, it'd be just an impromptu. That's what we was doing tonight. So, you can review it or whatever. But I don't know. Let me know, what you guys think about this impromptu. We're just talking about a few things. A little tough love, but that's really what it has to be sometime. And we'll get to posting, more content as we get time to upload more stories. So, have a good night, guys, and everything. And, take